You are commanded as a Christian to know what God's will is for your life. It literally says that exactly in Ephesians chapter 5. And also Ephesians 5 says that you're supposed to attempt to know what is pleasing to the Lord in every single moment. My question is, do you know your calling as well as God's will in every moment? By the way, welcome to day 2 of our 70-day Christian Hard, where yes, we're going into this thing every single day. We're reading the Bible every single day. I'm reading a book of the Bible a day, praying every day, fasting once a week, making sure that we're staying pure from that perspective, as well as making sure that we're working out twice a day and going on a diet. And we are so stoked. Click the link below if you want to join us for free. Just walking out of the gym, and I just was thinking in there, like, God has called you to so much more than you're living, and he has such a unique thing for you personally. And it's not just like encouraging, whatever jargon, but no, seriously, I mean, like, he has something for you. And when you walk in that, like, it fits like a glove that you've never seen anything probably in your life fit like before. And you're like that close to just finding out what that thing is and literally just walking in it. Today's reading was in Philippians, and chapter 4 really stuck out to me. I mean, the whole thing is mind-boggling, but it talks about how us as Christians, everything is in context to our mindset. And if our mindset's good, everything else is good. If our mindset's bad, everything tends to be bad. And notice that nothing changed in the actual real world, but our perception of that determined everything for us. It says, don't be anxious about anything, but by prayer and supplication, make your requests be known to God. You've heard it a million times, but I want you to think about it in a way you maybe not thought of it before. Paul there is contrasting you being anxious with you praying. It's really hard. If for any of my friends here who have prayed, seriously prayed, how many times have you been in the middle of praying and still anxious at the same time? Very rare. So my next question is, how many of you, when feeling anxiety, have gone to God in prayer immediately, not a week later, a month later, not 2 hours later, immediately in the moment that you're feeling that, and see what happens? Because anybody who knows already is smiling, because you know what I'm talking about. And God immediately strips that away. Doesn't mean the position or the situation changes immediately in that moment, but it means that you have this peace that surpasses all understanding, like it says there in Philippians 4, all because of you taking what you're going through to God. People always say that of like, take it to God, bring it to God in prayer or whatever. But like, do you actually even do it? Like, do you actually do it? Because if you don't, then like, no wonder you're feeling such anxiety and stress and pressure and nothing's changing. And then he goes on to say, I have had a lot, I've had a little, but I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Again, he's saying I'm fine regardless of what life throws at me because I have Christ and he is my strength. In the midst of whatever I'm going through, when I'm going through lack, he's my strength. When I've got great things happening in life, he's still my strength. Again, it's a perspective that you're having that other people probably are not having a lot of times around you. At the end of 1 Corinthians 1, it says that, or 1 Corinthians 2, sorry, it says that you have been given the mind of Christ. Think for a moment. If you were Jesus going through the things that he went through, how would you be thinking? What would be going through your mind in a moment? When he's with the woman at the well, what's he actually thinking about? When he's getting blasphemed and called all these things that are not true, when he's being called out and saying he's a drunkard and he's demonic because of him casting demons out and he's supposedly casting out devils by devils, how is he actually feeling in that moment? What is he going through mentally in that moment? Because you're supposed to be going through the same exact thing in your mind in that moment. You're supposed to have the mind of Christ. This is the way that Christ would be thinking. This is how he'd be feeling. The word mind in Greek also is in reference to your feelings. This is actually what Christ would be going through in that moment. He wouldn't just be saying, oh, here's 3 scriptures. He's actually having a thought process saying, no, I get what they're saying, but God, I know that you have a revelation that you want to give this person who's deceived right now. And instead of getting mad at them, how about I get on my knees and pray for them right now in their deception? Wouldn't that sound a lot more like the mind of Christ? And then another is in Hebrews 12, talks about the same topic. It says, lay aside your sin encumbrances which so easily entangle you, and keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and the perfecter of your faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despised the shame, and sat down at the right hand of God. Consider him who endured such hostility against himself by sinners, so that you don't grow weary. Again, this discouragement, this anxiety, this depression, this hopelessness, this helplessness that people feel, you feel it because you're not living Christ. You're not thinking, man, I know what I'm going through, but what did the perfect sinless Son of Man go through? Because if I can think of what he went through in a moment, it's really hard for me to be discouraged in this moment. It's really hard for me to be hopeless and helpless in this moment. It sucks. It's hard what I'm going through, but what did he go through? Perfect sinless man. And he still made sure that he had the mind of Christ. He still made sure that he was keeping his thoughts higher than our thoughts in the heavenlies. He was constantly in touch with the Father. Is that what you're doing when you're going through things? Because the reality is you are either currently going through something or you're in a great season and you're going to be going through something soon, because this is just the reality of life. And the reality for you is you get to dictate how well or poorly that situation, that experience goes, solely by where your mindset is. Last one, James 1. It says, in this same context, it says to consider it pure joy when facing trials and tribulations of many kind, knowing that it will bring forth the perfection of your faith. When you don't, like, nobody wants to go through trials and tribulations, but when you think of trials and tribulations and you go, wow, man, I get to actually look more like Christ and be refined through the fire of whatever I'm going through. When you think of it that way, everything turns into an opportunity, not a discouragement, not a time to mope, grope, complain, moan and whine, etc. 1 Corinthians 10, it says that the Israelites were left in the wilderness and did not make it into the promised land because of grumbling and complaining and sexual immorality. Really let that think in regards to your daily life and how you live and how you let what you're going through dictate what actually happens in your life. Not gonna lie, fam, I'm getting a late start to my run for the day. Been running around all day with the kids on daddy duty, which has been amazing, a blessing. Been able to teach them about Jesus, which has been great. But with that being said, it is currently 8:15 and I'm just about to start this run. So let's get it. All right, let's go. Talking about Philippians 4 and mindset. This is one of those things for me. It's 8:15. Not having sweets has been killing me. It's been killing my head as well. Because, sugar gives you some of that energy, and not having it, it's like I've got some serious headaches now. So, man, today I was like trying to justify, what can I get? Still get a little bit of sugar in there. And I was like, no, I'm crucifying my flesh. I just fasted yesterday. I'm doing good today. I'm not going to waver. We're only day 2. And I'm already on the struggle bus with sugar, honestly. And again, with working out, I'm like, dude, I'm getting home at 8 o'clock at night. I got to put my kids to bed, but I got to get my run in, be disciplined. This is part of character and integrity. And that discipline is saying, hey, I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. Listen, if you're not in on this thing with us, what are you doing? I get nothing from this for you, doing it yourself, but it changes you. Like big time. Even before I even said, hey, I'm doing this, people just said how much they've been impacted by me saying I was going to do it, let alone them actually starting it themselves. You don't need to do what I'm doing. You don't need to read a book a day of the Bible. You don't need to pray for 30 minutes a day. You don't need to go on a crazy diet thing. You don't need to work out twice a day. I encourage you to. I think sometimes we can get so zealous in the body of Christ in this way. It takes out any nuance. And for somebody, it's like, dude, can I just can I pop? Like somebody who's like, hey, can I just start drinking some more water? Somebody's like, hey, maybe can I just start walking on a treadmill for 10 minutes a day? Yes, you can. Yes, please. And just do something. Do something in this. Read the Bible every day. That's not a question. But you don't have to do a book a day. That's something I'm doing. That's a conviction I have. Again, I'm trying to show you guys, if I can do it, you can do it. Don't make the excuses anymore. And see what God does through your obedience, through your discipline. And God's going to transform your life radically. He promises in his word he will. Seek him with all your heart and you'll find him. Diligently seek him. He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Most of y'all aren't diligently seeking him. Just be honest with yourself, right? But if you do it, I assure you, you'll see that transformation. Subscribe. Share with somebody who needs this motivation today. Join us in the link below, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.